Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. In my hands is one of the recent releases from Boom Studios. This is Big Black Stand at Attica, recounting the true story of the prison uprising in Attica in the early 70s, 1971, summer of 1971. So it is told by the experience and the first-hand experience from a guy named Frank Big Black Smith, who was one of the prisoners, and was kind of, I don't know if I'd call him one of the center, but it was a key figure in the Attica uprising. And Smith worked with his co-writer here, who is Jared Reinmuth, to tell his story and get his story down. That happened through 1997, actually I think a little bit later, and then Smith wound up passing away in 2004, and Reinmuth was trying to figure out how best to do this, whether or not as a book, as a movie, like how to bring this story into the world. And here we have this graphic novel. This is something that has been worked on for many, many years. And we finally get the true story of Attica prison uprising. And it's interesting in that, like, I know of the Attica prison riot. I do not know the specifics of it. I actually grew up and lived not too far from Attica. Going on the highway, you'd see signs for Attica. But honestly, I like the whole details of it. Why they rioted isn't something that I could spout out easily right now, or before this. This is good. It's really, really good, and it is a weighty read. The first thing that immediately kind of think about is that what I take away and how I'm going to react to this would be totally different than African American person reading this, just because it really reflects still on issues today. And I think that's the thing that really stood out to me, is like it touches upon issues I do not experience in my life. Someone of different complexion of me is probably going to experience some of this stuff in their life. So it'd be fascinating to know what some of their thoughts are, that type of person's thoughts are. But the thing that really stands out to me is that the systemic issues that these prisoners rose up against and spoke out about exist till today. The prison system is absolutely broken. It has become a business like any other that's all about profits, and those profits are made off the backs of the prisoners. That includes slave wages, horrible conditions, mistreatment, abuse, and a lot of that's driven by racism, systemic problems in just the prison system as a whole. And this book, even though it's a story that takes place in the early 70s, feels like it could still be today. This is a tough read in a good way, in that it just really reminds you of just how horrid things are in many, many ways. And honestly, I think it's really great in that it teaches me the history of Attica, and a lot of this, the prison system, well aware of. Like, I love prison documentaries. So a lot of that is well known to me. It's just for somehow this in some way, this graphic novel like really just re-emphasizes everything and does it in such a way that it just, it's hard to read. The abuse that is delivered, not just during the riot and the uprising, but especially afterwards, and to Big Black, and just his long fight for justice and to take on reprisals, to take on the reprisals that happen. It's just, it's a hell of a story. It really is a hell of a story, and it is, again, a tough one to get through. The abuse done by the guards in the reprisal alone is tough to get to. If you saw this in a film, you wouldn't believe it happening. And I think that's that's kind of the amazing thing, like just the brutality and the sadism and the hatred. It's just there for you reading this, and the fact that so few who fueled it and wound up murdering not just prisoners but the guards that were hostages, and not pay for that is unreal. Like, crimes were committed and people got away with it. One of them wound up being vice president. Like, it's just, this is something to read. Like, if you are into history, if you want to see reality from a different perspective, this is absolutely worth it, and just an amazing read. The art is really, really good. It is done in this like brownish, grayish, black and white style. I don't quite know how to describe the coloring of it, and it really emphasizes just the racial disparity and that aspect to the whole story. I'll just leave this here because I think this is just a very powerful 2-page spread. This is, it's a hell of a read. It really is a hell of a read. I was super excited to be able to read this, and I'm glad that Boom and Archaea have put this out there. The artist, Améziane, I think that's how you pronounce the name, did a fantastic job. And his art, like, really, there's art to it, and it doesn't go over the top with the brutality of things, because it's generally black and whitish coloring. A lot of the stuff, I think, is de-emphasized in a way that somehow makes it probably even more brutal. Holes and heads and hands and blood, and it's just, this is an amazing piece of literature, and I think it's going to sound weird to say, but a fantastic start to 2020 as to what we might be able to see beyond the capes and tights in comics, and hopefully what we'll be seeing more of throughout the year. As I said, this is just, it's a fantastic read. Absolutely get it. It's out in bookstores now, or sorry, in comic shops now. It'll be out in bookstores on 2/18. Definitely for mature readers or those that can handle the subject matter. This is history. This is history laid out there in all the warts and everything, and it's reflective of today still. It might have been 40 years ago, but a lot of what has said and a lot of what drove these events still persist and still exist, and still, inhumane conditions for prisoners persist. The quote's not in there, but I know there's a general quote about, you measure a society by how they treat their prisoners, and we fail. This graphic novel just shows that we fail as humanity as a whole. Like, this is some weighty stuff. Go get this. Like, seriously, this is a fantastic piece of literature, and a piece of a bit of history that needs to be read and seen. And hopefully gets you to reflect on things. So go get it. As I said, it's in comic shops now, bookstores, 2/18. Got a link beneath this video. Put it in your zip code. Tell if a shop's near you. No shop, no problem. We do have affiliate links. There are affiliate links, so we get a small percentage of that. But really, you should go support your comic shops. And speaking of support, I want to thank Boom for hooking us up with this review copy. We appreciate it. And thank you for watching. Now, if you're into graphic novels, if you're into Boom Studios, Archaea, comics in general, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. So until next time, be better towards each other. Keep it geeky.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.